attempt for. Hey guys, welcome back to another What If here. Today we are doing What If Kuruma's chakra turns Naruto into a female, part 5. If you don't know what happened in the last part, go and watch it. There's a link in the description down below which will take you to the playlist where you can watch part 1 to part 5, or if this is in the future and part 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 to whatever is out, then they would also be in that playlist. So yeah, anyway, let's get into this what if. So it will have been 3 days after Naruto and Kurama had found out that Naruto can produce his own tailed beast chakra. And well, yeah, currently Naruto would be he'd be jogging. It was early in the morning, so he somewhat started just jogging. Oh yeah, he'd started jogging around 2-3 weeks ago, so for whatever reason, when they got back, he'd started jogging around Konoha. For whatever reason, nobody really knew, though Kurama did, and pretty much it was that to help his stamina, which would also coincide with his chakra reserve, increasing his chakra reserves, because the higher his stamina gets, the somewhat more chakra he has access to, so the bigger his reserves get slightly. And as Naruto jogged, so Kurama would be thinking that, should be wondering that if Naruto were to ever die, she would kind of come back to life like all the other tailed beasts do, because the tailed beast chakra just scatters, and then after a year to 9 years it will reform, and they are back. All their memories and everything is back. So she's wondering, because Naruto can produce his own tailed beast chakra like all the other tailed beasts, so he would probably be the only human ever, though he would no longer be human. He'd be just like Kurama, just like the other tailed beast, a chakra beast, pure chakra. And at that point she would truly become his mum, as his and her chakra will be familiar. Well, not familiar, that would be similar. That's what I was going to say, familiar. Yeah. And so I wasn't sure, or would Naruto be instead, or if that did happen, but in the case that he somehow never actually his human body never reaches old age, which would mean he'd be immortal, which is another possibility, which, in both ways Naruto would be immortal. His human body, though, would only be immortal to the point where it either died of old age, or it had cut off or blown smithereens, and then a year to 9-10 years later, and he'd be reformed because of having tailed beast chakra, though she wasn't 100% sure, but she wasn't going to tell Naruto this, because he didn't want him panicking, because that wouldn't do anyone any good, now would it? And it was Naruto get back to his apartment from his run, as he'd go, "Hey Kurama, kid, what's up? You sound like you're in pain." My chest, it feels like it's on fire. I should go, well, go to the mirror and go into your bedroom and take off your top and stand in front of the full body mirror. Naruto would just go, okay, but how would that help them? Just trust me, okay. As Naruto would do just that after getting into his apartment. And a couple of seconds would go by as he'd now be undressed and standing in front of his full body mirror, as he'd just be looking at himself as Naruto goes, so see anything? Kurama does some hot sigh and go, turn so that you can at least see, like, say, the side of you. Naruto would just raise an eyebrow, but do just that, as she'd go, look at your body, like, in the mirror, though keep it sideways. He would, and Kurama would immediately see there's a bump, and she'd go, when as Naruto'd look and go, nothing doesn't look out of the ordinary. As Kurama would just sigh and go, kid, look more carefully around your chest area. As he would, as he still wouldn't really see nothing, as he'd go, how about your upper chest, where you tend to grow breasts anytime you enter your own Beast chakra mode or use my chakra? He'd look even closer, as he'd then finally see little bumps or little hills on his chest, as he'd poke. His first reaction was just to poke them. He'd pinch himself then poke them. He'd go, so I have breasts. Come and just go, yeah, you do. I'd go, as he'd just keep on poking them, as can it be thinking, is that it? I thought he would have shouted out something. Or has the chakra, my and his chakra, affected his somewhat mentality so that he wouldn't freak out, though? So then things like, I guess that's more possible due to the fact he does grow breasts anytime he uses his own Beast chakra, or when he pulls in my Beast chakra, he does grow breasts. So I guess it makes sense that he'd actually get used to somewhat having them, and now having them, it's not surprising. As that I would go, so why would my chest feel like it's on fire? As Kurama would just sweat up and go, he doesn't care that he's got breasts. You should go, well, because you've got breasts now, Naruto, they seem to be at a size that when you run, they bounce up and down, which, though slightly, so just enough that it doesn't put your balance off, but enough that it rubs against your top. And whilst, yes, you may have, say, chainmail over it when you're, say, when you're training all that, right now and even right now, though, the actual tip of the tip of the breasts, milk comes out for babies, that rubs against the top, which causes it to it gets hot, and it produces a lot of pain. You get friction burn. I do just go up. So how does what do I do to stop it, like stop this pain? Just go, well, I guess for now get something cold and put it on them, or run a freezing cold bath and get into it. And after that, we can head down to the close-up, and you can get your say chest measured so that you can buy the correct bra size, so that it never happens again, because it's going to be even worse if you're on a mission. Now don't just go okay, as he'd go through his freeze and find some ice, and Kurama tell him to get a towel or something and put the ice in it, and then just hold it against his breast. That yes, it'd be very cold, it should hopefully cool it down. Then I would ask her, why can't you peel it? Can we just go, it's because it's not actually done no damage, it's just hot, very very uncomfortably hot. So that, pretty much that's why it's kind of giving you the burning sensation, because it's very very hot. So using the ice, yes, it is going to sting quite badly, but it will eventually cool down. Though if you did continue to run, and the pain would just get worse and worse and worse and worse until it would just bleed, which would be then when my chakra would obviously kick in and heal you, but the burning sensation would still very much continue. And then go, okay, and around 20 minutes later, his breast had cooled down. They're still somewhat stinging, but that would go away, as once it cooled down enough, he jumped in the shower and got cleaned from his jug, from the somewhat little amount of sweat he produced from the jog. And after throwing on a top and that, he would then walk out and walk towards the clothes shop that he goes to get any of his clothes that he needs. And another 5 minutes would go by as he would then arrive as the clerk, I think it's called, of the shop owner, and go, Naruto-kun, it's good to see you, how have you been? Naruto just go, I've been fine, how about you? So, I'm doing just fine. How can I help you? Or what can I help you with today, Naruto? Naruto would go, do you, could you measure my chest? So just go, sure, but do you mind telling me why? And go, you'll see, it's, I guess, obvious. So you just somewhat nod and wonder what Naruto meant by it would be obvious. So she shrugged, grabbed a tape measure, and they would walk towards the changing stores, as Naruto then, after arriving there, he would then take off his jumper, he'd take off his top, as it would just be a just rest day for for him, for the entire team, though almost all of them didn't stop training. So it was pretty much pointless. It was just a day where they didn't have to deal with their sensei. Yeah. And, well, yeah, once Naruto had taken off his chainmail armor, she'd look in the mirror and go, "Is that what I'm seeing?" As she'd go, "Naruto, am I seeing things, or do you have breasts?" Naruto would go, yeah, you're not seeing things I do." I should go, so what are you training? Is it while you finally grown breasts? Naruto just slightly nod, though he wasn't really sure what to say. And she'd then explain how she'd pretty much measure them. What to get is pretty much cup size and bra size, cup size, whatever. As she'd say, she'd get a first measurement across the breasts and then another one underneath them. I would just nod as she'd do that, and she'd be surprised. That almost everyone generally, when they came in, after seeing breasts, would generally either slightly below a AA cup or an AA cup, which is the smallest breast size, bra size. And she'd look at Naruto and go, "When did you notice you have breasts?" Naruto would go, "Just this morning, like they were burning, so I asked Kura, and she somewhat told me to step in front of my mirror, and after, turning sideways, I realised then I had breasts." So, so you, just wondering, and should guess that the chainmail, being somewhat still slack and somewhat at least heavy enough, kept his chest from, or at least somewhat bouncing up and down enough to cause any real friction, or was small enough that it wasn't enough to cause any friction, or at least burning, or really any pain sensation that would pretty much make Naruto aware of him while he was having a chest. So yeah, Kurama hearing this would just think, I guess that explains it, though. How big is his chest? Hey Naruto, yeah, Kurama, what's it? Ask how big your breasts are. Okay, sure. How big are they? And she'll go, "Oh, right, well, they're an A cup, Naruto." And go, "So they're small." She'd go, "Well, yes, they're very much small, but, they're bigger than what most people, than almost any girl, any girl finds out they have breasts. Generally, most girls find out they have breasts when their breast size are just either below or are at a AA cup, which is the smallest, which is kind of confusing because it goes AA cup, then B, not so B's bigger, then A, yes, goes B, then double B, which is a double B cup is bigger than a B cup, though a AA cup is smaller than an A cup. That's confusing. Yeah, I know, I very much know, but that's just how it is, that's just what we decided on, so, yep. Now they just nod and go, so we got, So he'd just go over and he'd go, just stay here. I'll be back in a couple of minutes. He'd just nod. And she'd go off as Kurama would think. I guess that also explains why Naruto wasn't surprised. His breast somewhat for who knows how long had been a double A cup, which had meant that, well, he'd somewhat already come accustomed to having having something on, like his just grown out, which would produce or at least enough hormones, even when he's not using like his kitsune chakra or her own chakra to somewhat stop a freak out of having breasts, which a male would have, though Naruto didn't because of that small but consistent amount of hormone. Well, yeah, hormone being there. So yeah, it was a couple minutes would go by. She'd come back with some makeup, some bras to that is matches Naruto's size, or at least within Naruto's size, so to be obviously comfortable. And she'd go, well, I wasn't exactly sure what bras types to get you, so knowing you're somewhat very much active ninja, and as most only some ninjas, some ninja do come in here and tend to buy sports bras, which are just they just tend to be a lot better at keeping the breasts anchored. Now I would just nod, but would be slightly confused as Kurama would explain that it's pretty much there's 3 types of bras, being normal standard bras, then sports bras, which most people buy for running, or in the case of a ninja, buy them for obviously being in the ninja life, and obviously they'd put them on for a mission. And then there is the strapless kind, which is pretty much just like the normal bra type, but without really any straps. And I'd just go, okay, but that I'm still confused. So go, well, you'll somewhat understand when you see them. You just go, okay. And of course when you write them, it will also become more obvious, though you don't need any strapless bras there. The only time you really need a strapless bra is if you're wearing a dress, and I don't think you'd be wearing a dress any time soon. I'd go, yeah, I don't really want to wear a dress anytime soon. Can we just nod? I should go, well, yeah, I got you some normal bras, as you'd probably say, like for lounging around and walking around kind of hurting, and obviously some sports bras so that you obviously can go on missions and that with your breasts being just anchored and not thrown out, not throwing you off anytime you go to, I don't know, say like swing a punch or jump from a tree or something. I don't know what you ninjas do, but yeah, it'll keep them somewhat out of your way. I'd just somewhat nod, though not sure. Yeah, I'd pick out some colours and get like enough so that he could say go on a mission for a month, and we'll like obviously have a pretty much somewhat a like different one a day, though obviously there was somewhat of a different issue now, which was now that he grew breasts, he's not exactly going to be allowed into the male side of any hot springs, because he's got a breast. Yeah, that may be small, but they're gonna somewhat be obvious. Or, well, and he's not being able to go into the female side because, well, he is junk. No reason why he couldn't go into male side is because he'd be, well, wearing a bra, which would just make it glaringly obvious that he's got a chest, breasts. So yeah, and those Naruto generally tended to more so have paths in his own house and not out, though if they were ever on a mission, it would get them a bit confusing, because past his team could go, he couldn't. So yeah, they would just get to it whenever like a mission comes, that yeah, when situation appears either on or off a mission. Yeah, anyway, after that, Naruto he'd picked one to wear, so he'd thrown it on and paid for the ones, and paid for them, and he'd somewhat walked. He'd then left, and yeah, he went home and dropped them off and put them away, and then walked. Then, we'd walk outside and would then we'd then walk outside and walk towards training ground 7 to somewhat start his water training, because and then to release everyone else, was Kakashi taught him the water clone jutsu. Kakashi didn't know that, or at least Kurama pretty much told Naruto to keep on practicing it, but to practice it without being near any lakes or anywhere that would be water, or anywhere near water, so that he could try and draw water from the atmosphere itself, because it would be hard for Naruto not having an affinity, but still very much possible, and especially with his Uzumaki, being an Uzumaki, and all, he's very much stubborn and will very much see it that he completes the task. Yeah, they were very much a stubborn lot when they were set in their way. So yeah, when Naruto had arrived, he'd waved at he'd said hi to Sasuke, which had just somewhat grunted back, though. He'd grunted back, though Sasuke was slowly getting, better and not in his ways of revenge, though revenge was still very much what he wanted right now, but he was slowly changing. Slowly. Yeah. And, even Naruto would pretty much do the cross hand sign and make, 1,000 clones. They would go off in there. They would split off into two groups to do their wind and fire practice. And, Naruto would walk off to do, he was thinking, was there a way to do a water clone, because he'd gone to before to try a water clone, the water clone jutsu. He can do it, but he'd added the axe, though when he did, nothing happened to the water, but he could feel something inside of him wanting to come out, which was somewhat strange. And that was yesterday, and today he wanted to get down to it. As you'd arrive at his pretty much training spot where he constantly trying to try and draw water from the air. He could, but not enough to produce a clone, or really anything to pretty much be useful in any jutsu. So yeah, and he'd somewhat do the hand signs again, including the axe, as he could still feel a somewhat throbbing as it looked down, and as you could see, somewhat like veins on his hand somewhat bulge a bit. As he'd go, maybe? As Kurama go, okay, what are you thinking? So I'd go, well, I'm not exactly sure right now, but just stick with me for the moment. So just go, okay, kid. As he'd grab a kuna and slash his hand. Good go, oh my god, kid, why have you done that? I'm as mad. I'd go, don't heal it, not yet. And go, what? But you calm down, Kurama. I did it on purpose, obviously on purpose. So just let it at least bleed out for a bit, as he'd start doing the hand signs for the water clone again, as he would include the axe, as the blood would then, well at least the blood that was coming out would go onto the floor, would then start pulling in more blood out of him, and a while later, well, it'd somewhat stop, and Kurama would immediately start going in and healing it as fast as possible. And yeah, Naruto somewhat felt a bit weak, but though losing that much blood would make somebody weak, as it would then start coming together on the ground, as it would then form into a shape, as then it would match Naruto's height of 4'7". I think, yeah, he's either 4 foot, yeah, I think he's 4'5". It's either 4'5" or 4'7", one of those. It would match his height, as then it would go from the red blood colouring to match him, as the clone would go, hey boss, as Kurama would just go wide-eyed, as Naruto just done what many hundreds to thousands of people have tried. They've constantly tried making a clone out of blood. It was somewhat because they believed that making a blood clone would be the making blood clone would be the most pretty much accurate clone to yourself. As Kurama would be wondering what's its max capability like. So like a shadow clone, they were more specifically designed for somewhat either training in chakra, if the person had a ton of chakra like Naruto does, or say recon, because they can transfer that memory. Those should feel for Naruto's chakra and only feel like around like 20-25% of it was taken out, which was odd. The clone took obviously a single clone with half his chakra reserves, and of course had made 1,000 clones, so but this was out of the chakra he has obviously left, so 20% of the chakra he had left, which was somewhat odd because it should take half of what he had left, not 20%. And I did go, how exactly would I dispel you? Can't go, by releasing me, boss, that's the only way. Or at least, there is another way, but it's gruesome. I just nod and go, say it. It's like, you'd have to kill me, boss. You'd have to obliterate me, or give me, like, say, killing blow, chop off my head, stab me through the heart, something like that, a killing blow to dispel me. Naruto just nodded. As, like, to Kurama, it pretty much meant that the clone produced its own chakra. It would also then thus need to consume food and water, and this pretty much was a true pretty much clone of oneself. As Naruto go, well, could you is it node switch with Kurama? Sure, boss, I'll try, and let's hope it's a success, as they'd tried it before with a shadow clone, and the second she was in control of the clone, had immediately dispelled. So it wasn't. They tried it again and again with different, say, amount of either her chakra or like different amounts of his chakra and her chakra in the clone, and it still dispersed. So they just given up on that idea. It clearly wouldn't work. The clone would close its eyes as Kurama would ask, Naruto, you sure, kid? Kurama, I'm sure this surely has to work. So at least give it a shot. So just go, well, I guess so. We haven't got much to lose, have we now? Naruto just not as and the blood clone would switch as should then pretty much the clone would open its eyes again to reveal the same blue eyes as Naruto, but there'd be slitted blue eyes in an indication of Kurama being in control. Without using any of her chakra. So his Kurama would blink as she'd just stare at Naruto, as Naruto would smile and go, so what? As she'd just nod and go, it did, though very much sounding like Naruto, of course. And I'd go, so I guess try drawing on your own chakra and see what happens. She'd just nod, and they'd do that. As she'd also pretty much do Naruto's transformation jutsu, so that pretty much so that she'd have actually close and not risk busting the pretty much probably chakra clothes that were on her. So and after the smoke had cleared, Kurama would be standing there with, of course, the single toe behind her, and of course she'd draw on her own chakra, so it'd be crimson red, with her D-cup breasts. As she'd just look at that, and she'd go, so as Naruto would just smile and go, so you're pretty much free in a way. She'd just go, she'd just run up to Naruto and cuddle him, and she'd go, thank you so much, Naruto. Thank you. You don't know how much this means to me. As Naruto would cuddle her back, as he would just say, it's okay, Kurama. And she just kept saying thank you with tears somewhat in her eyes. Being obviously she had obviously her freedom for the longest out of all the toad beasts, and Naruto was really her first Jinchuriki that ever talked to her and, properly talked to her and allowed her to hear nature and see through his eyes and that. So, it was just real. Sure, she still wasn't technically free, but obviously Naruto was in his own body, and she was in the blood clone body, which as long as she didn't get the blood clone killed, she would be in control of it. And as long as she ate food, ate food and drank water, the body would continue to function. So yeah, though they'd somewhat continued to cuddle, though Naruto had kind of unconsciously pulled on his own chakra, so yeah, his chest had gotten a bit tight, and Kurama had felt her own breast somewhat press into her bit, like a bit more, as though she didn't really care at the moment, and she wouldn't even really notice or feel pretty much her own tail wrap around something, or more so, like a tail and her own tail wrapping around something. Naruto didn't even realise they'd pulled on his own Kitsune chakra. And Kurama then pushed back a bit as she'd blink and she'd see the foxes above his head, and would see the tips being pink, which had indicated his, and she'd see his pretty much single tail with the top bit being pink, the tip of the tail being pink. She wouldn't see his tail, as she'd pull back, as then she'd feel a tail wrapped around something. Seeing Naruto would look down, and Naruto would blush a bit, as so Kurama, as their tails would immediately unwrap, as I'd go. I didn't even realise I drew on my own chakra. I guess I did it unconsciously. Kurama would just nod, as she'd go, at least now I can train you in use of my chakra, and obviously help you in your own as well. And I can teach you now also my own jutsu that I'd created. And I would just nod and would be excited, because though she'd also say there is one more thing that we'd have to do, and what's that? For one, you will have to tell obviously your sensei with this. You can, but it will be, you'd just be somewhat delaying the amount of training you can do in your own Kitsune chakra, because if you tell your sensei, if you tell your sensei, then you'll be able to obviously train in your Kitsune state against him, and possibly even against your teammates when you eventually tell them. They just nod as he'd go, I guess now that you can pretty much walk freely and help train me, that it's somewhat, I guess, about time that we did tell him. So just nod and Naruto go, though I'm going to tell him tomorrow, I'm not going to tell him today. So just chuckle and nod as he'd go, well then, I haven't really sparred in a while, but as they would then pretty much they would get into spar. And yeah, a couple of hours would go by as, time would seem to fly by. As they would just be somewhat just having fun, like sparring against one another. So it was, spar, though pretty much, Naruto was obviously learning pretty much a lot of stuff about pretty much his kitchen state. He'd learned, obviously, all his movements and that was heightened. He had heightened speed, strength, agility, flexibility, and even more so because he had obviously a tail, so he could pretty much turn around at speed, which would generally cause him to topple over. But because he's got a tail, the tail would counteract the him falling forward. So yeah. They didn't really know how long they were at it, though somewhat would try, I guess, and should say, I should look up, and she'd somewhat notice it was starting to get darker. She'd go, "Hey kid," and go, "Yeah, what is it, Kura? Look up at the sky. I think it's about time we made our way home." Now they'll just look up to the sky and go, guess you're right. I didn't even notice it get this late. She's saying, neither did I. I guess we just had somewhat too much fun, and Naruto would nod. Well, yeah, it was quite fun sparring against you, Kura. And would nod and say the same thing. That it was fun sparring against him, her. Yeah. And go, obviously, say, like at the start, she was somewhat sloppy, though, as, as spar continued, you got somewhat better. You obviously got more used to, obviously, having a tail and having more flexibility and agility and that. As I could tell by the end of it, you were, like, it was still bad, but it was a lot better than how you started out as. So I'd say if you keep this up, maybe in a month or two, you'd be obviously like fully used to it. Though you'd probably make it in half that time. So in probably a month, in 2 weeks to a month, you'd master your own state, of course. Naruto just nod and go, when exactly are we going to dispel? But I guess you should go, right, because I'm blood, and dispelling really anywhere and having a large pile of blood would cause the village to go into lockdown. Naruto just nodding and going, yeah, so we could always, I guess, say, like, go obviously like in the river, or it'd be somewhat too hard to get back to your home. So yeah, I'd have to go to the river and dispel, and hopefully nobody notice blood in the river. I just nod as you go, well, okay, then I'll be off. I'll obviously tell you when I'm back inside of you. No, they just nod and go, well, we'll be heading home then. So just nod as they would part ways. And then around halfway back, Naruto would obviously say she's back inside of him, as Naruto would just say okay and continue his way back home. And the next day Naruto would pretty much show Kakashi and Yamato, or as he's more commonly known as Yamato, or as Kakashi called him when we'd first seen him, Tenzo, which is his real name. Yamato is just his code name, which I call him by because it's easier to remember. And I don't make any real mix-ups, I think. Anyway, so yeah, and Kakashi and Yamato would be very surprised that Naruto had his own, Naruto produced his own Tail Beast chakra. And to look at Naruto as Kakashi go, so can you become a Tail Beast? Naruto till his hand and go, what do you mean, Sensei? Well, what I mean is can you say transform into an animal? And go, I'm not sure. Can we just say to Naruto in his head, I don't think you should try it, Naruto, or at least right here, because after all we're still pretty much in Konoha, and a giant, who knows how tall, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 meter tall fox appearing out of thin air, he's going to throw the village on to high alert, and they're going to want to know what the heck happened. Naruto just go, that's probably best not. And I go, I haven't tried, and I probably won't really try unless we're far enough outside of Konoha that they wouldn't see a 17 meter tall fox. Kakashi and Yamato would just nod and go, I guess that is the smartest move. Kakashi would go, yeah, so any other surprises you've got for us? Naruto just nod as he bring out his kunais, just sigh, knowing what he is about to do. Kakashi and Yamato just look at him a bit curious. Have Naruto just slice his hand open as Kakashi would go wide-eyed. What the heck was Naruto doing? Why did he slice his hand open? Kakashi would go, Naruto, what are you doing? Yamato would just be surprised as I'd go, don't worry, Sensei. When I'm done, it will explain itself. That's all that you need to know. You just go, yeah, but still you shouldn't have. Just wait and see, Sensei. Just wait and see as he'd go through the hand signs for the water clone. They'll add the axe for the shadow clone, which would be the blood clone, jutsu. And as the blood would obviously come together and form into Naruto, as Kakashi and Yamato would go wide-eyed, like, Naruto, you just made a blood clone. Do you have any idea how many people have tried? It's like, well, no, but I'm guessing hundreds. Kakashi would chuckle and go, no, Naruto, you're talking about millions of people at one stage in their lives, and in at least a ninja sometime throughout their lifetime has tried to do and come up with a blood clone or a way to make a blood clone. And yeah, here you are combining the water clone and the shadow clone to make a blood clone. Like, just wow. Yeah. And they just go, yeah, and that's not all, Sensei. Should crack his eyebrows, smoke would erupt from it, as well, would step out of it, as Kakashi and Yamato would just go wide out. His Yamato would bring up his hand as Naruto would immediately stand in front of her and go, no. Trust me, it's like how, how me and Kurama switched. That's all. It's like the clone has switched with Kurama. And she can obviously draw on her own chakra. So, Kakashi would go so in other season, in other somewhat free. Kinda, though within the restriction of the cell, of course, so she can only draw more, she can only draw the same amount of chakra that I can, which is currently a, well, I guess 2 tails, though I'm not really mastered in that yet. She just nod and, yeah. And she just go, well, it's nice to meet you, Hatake Kakashi. She just nod and go, well, it's nice to somewhat, I guess, finally, like, see and talk to you in somewhat person. Yeah. They just somewhat shake hands. The Kakashi would be on, of course, high alert. He didn't really know what I could do. Sure, Naruto trusted her, and he would obviously trust Naruto, but he was at least going to be at least cautious around her, and she knew that. She knew she would have to, of course, like, earn his trust. It was just something, obviously, you had to do. Yeah, and well, yeah, she'd go, well, or at least yesterday, pretty much. Well, of course, Naruto had made 1,000 clones, which had worked on his fire and wind, his fire and wind control. It not, and what did you and Naruto do then? Oh, we just sparred for the entire day. You sparred for the entire day? They just nod as Naruto Jack was sheepishly as you go, yeah, kind of lost track of time. I should go, so you two enjoyed yourself? It's like, yeah, it's quite a good spar. Well, yeah, and this is where I'm going to end it, guys. I know didn't really get through much. I was hoping to at least possibly get through to master of the 2 tails, but maybe hopefully in part 6 there'll be hopefully more action. Hopefully, fingers crossed, there'll be a lot more action. So yeah, guys, if you have enjoyed this, like and tell me in the comments down below. And yeah, well, stay safe, have a good day or night depending on where you are in the world, and or whenever you're watching this, and hey, good bye.